Hi guys, it's Deni here. Everyone is used to the fact that if you have to fight someone in games, it's surely some villains or something like that. But there are also games where you need to kill ordinary people. Well, such games are not that common, and the only thing that comes to your mind is the Prototype series. The killed people is just filled by the story. And if you don't have any more ideas about games with the kind of gameplay, you should definitely check out today's video. Today I'll show you 12 games that you will fight against humanity. But before we begin, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you are new to the channel. Okay, let's get started. One of the most popular plots about the destruction of humanity is when aliens discover the Earth and decide to kill all its inhabitants. And the first game on today's top list is Destroy All Humans 2. And it is exactly that kind of story. It's a sequel of the first part that continues the story of alien who decided to enslave humanity, but the government ruined his plans. In the second game you will take revenge on them for destroying your spaceship, explore the Earth from 60s, collect human DNA for your own upgrades, destroy the Earthlings with alien cannons, and much more. Simply put, your main goal here is to destroy all humans, and how you do it, it's up to you. However, it's not only aliens that want to exterminate humanity, but also some monsters, such as the amorphous creature with tentacles from the indie horror game Carrion. The protagonist here has spent the most part of his life in prison, but now he is free and wants not only to get his revenge on everyone who is responsible for his imprisonment, but also to devour everything he encounters. You'll have to explore grim locations, looking for victims and eat them to grow and develop yourself aggressively. There are no restrictions while you move, no vulnerability, all you have is freedom and the desire to destroy everything. I can't even imagine how big you can grow your main character to. And next we have Hatred. There, the main character has also decided to go against humanity. It is an arcade shooter where you will have to kill everyone who gets in your way. The game takes place in an ordinary, but rather the dark world. And the story is about a man who has lost his mind. He doesn't know why the hell he exists. The whole world makes him angry, but nothing he hates more than the people, and he is ready to kill them without a second thought. You will take on the role of this psychopath and wander through a huge world, shooting your enemies, organizing diversions, blowing things up, and much more. You will have a huge selection of weapons, from knives to grenades and explosives, so your murders won't seem monotonous. The next game is Dungeons 3, and here you need not to destroy the mankind, but to conquer the whole world. Though killing people is not forbidden here, you will have rather hard-working days of Dark Overlord. You will have to explore the dungeons, make forays into the upper world, fight with heroes who occasionally disturb you with their sudden trips to the underworld, and much more. You'll build a unique underground kingdom in the Dark Lord's domain. Create unique units and raise an army to show those puny humans who's the boss. Another dark and edgy game is a turn-based fantasy role-playing strategy RPG set in the dark fantasy style, Iratus, Lord of the Dead. The story tells us about the Dark Lord Iratus, who was once imprisoned by humans and forces of light, but he was released by his henchmen, and now he has decided to plunge the world into chaos and darkness again. Well, you will have to help him in this by taking on the task of creating an army, developing your your creatures, and building a shelter. The gameplay here is all about turn-based battles against the forces of light. You will have about 20 types of units at your disposal, including zombies, skeletons, vampires, and other evil creatures. Next, I'll show you a whole series of Overlord action games with RPG elements. Here you get to the fantasy world that many of you are already familiar with, and here you need to control the Lord of Darkness again, who wishes to conquer the whole world, and hordes of minions with different abilities will help you to achieve this objective. There are a lot of cool and funny jokes in the game, and unlike in previous Evil Rulers titles, here you have a special bar that shows the level of your protagonist's wickedness. You can either turn him into the worst tyrant, or you can turn him into good guy who helps people in the besieged city. It's all up to you. What we have next is Predator Hunting Ground. This multiplayer game is not really about killing humanity, but nonetheless you can kill people here. The game is set in the jungle of South America. You have to choose one of the sides, military group or alien predator. The military must destroy the predator using the most common firearms. Meanwhile, the predator uses advanced alien technology and has infrared vision, is able to move around the map unnoticed, and just tear people to pieces. The graphics in the game are pretty good, the gameplay is really fun, so you should definitely try it. The next game on today's list is Lucius. It's a rather old game that is a mix of action-adventure and thriller. The story takes place in the mansion of an ordinary married couple. Their beautiful boy was once born, long thought to be quite ordinary, but then he turned 6, his true nature awakened in him, and since then everything has changed. Now he is the true embodiment of evil, possessing supernatural powers and killing people. He does not kill everyone, of course, but his loved ones are sure to be in trouble. The gameplay here is pretty simple and is based on exploring the environment, using stealth elements, killing and completing side quests. You will also have different abilities that help you to commit murders and get away with it. Moving on, we have a strategy game with action elements, Evil Genius 2 World Domination. The game's main idea is quite simple. You need to create and lead a villainous faction. If you have seen James Bond movies, where he is always struggling with different evil geniuses that hang him above the shark pool and reveal all their schemes, and in the end James Bond just runs away and ruins all their plans, then you will find this game pretty familiar. But here it's you who will be the evil genius. You will get one of the genius scientists at your disposal and can try to conquer the whole world. You will need to build your own hideout, gather your henchmen, come up with an ingenious plan and build a full-fledged villainous empire. The main thing is not to make the same mistakes as other villains. Don't tell your plan ahead of time. I have already shown your V Rising in one of my previous videos, but it's worth mentioning it again today. It is an RPG with dark fantasy atmosphere that tells us a story about medieval vampire who woke up after 100 years sleep and is hungry for human blood. As you may have guessed by now, you will be this very vampire. You need to kill people to drink their blood. But the gameplay doesn't end here. You will also be able to explore the huge world, improve yourself, look for treasures, fighting with vampire hunters, building yourself a castle and do other stuff. By the way, if you want to play V Rising with your friends, you can do it because it has a co-op mod. Well, let's get back to the zombies and take a look at Zombie Night Terror, an action game with strategy elements. Many are comparing it with well-known Plague Inc., and this game really have a lot in common. According to the game's storyline, there is a zombie virus epidemic raging all over the world, but there is one thing. We are responsible for all this crap. You will not have to save yourself from the zombies, but to command them, spread the infection, improve the zombie virus, create new kinds of your brainless fighters, and so on. As the game creator said, the only way to survive the zombie apocalypse is to lead it. Well, it's time to end today's video, and the last thing I'll show you is Maneater. He will play as a small, newly born shark that lives in the open ocean waters of the Gulf of Mexico. You will have access to 7 major regions, including the Gulf Coast, beach resorts, industrial ports, and much more. Well, you'll do that any self-respecting shark would do: scare tourists, harass sea creatures, and devour some Lucius. Overall, the game is pretty straightforward, but it's easy to spend hours and hours stuck in it. Well, that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video and found something interesting. And if so, leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It's been Deni, see ya guys soon.